Hi everybody, this is Angelique, Day 3 Advanced Workshop, Dr. Joe Dispenza in Carefree, Arizona in 2015. And today I wanted to share a little bit about the importance of energy and especially Dr. Joe's Dispenza teaching that when we are trying to change matter with matter, it takes a lot of time and effort. And so his teaching is really about creating such an amplitude of energy in your body through specific breathing and meditation techniques that the energy of that decision to change, to connect to that greater self, to transcend and to conquer and overcome certain aspects of the old self, that the energy of that decision has to be bigger than the beliefs, addictions, habits of the old biological self. And so, and this sounds very esoteric. Anytime you mention energy, I know that some people around me will start rolling their eyes, and probably they should do so because until now, not a lot of people have put in a lot of effort in actually measuring what they call energy. Dr. Joe Dispenza, however, is somebody who is going to be known for merging science and esoteric spirituality and quantum law principles. And over the last few days, and even in progressive workshops that I've been to last year in Holland and in Portugal, he's been able to demonstrate that his team has been able to measure significant energy energy outbursts in people's brain activity and chakra centers and in their energy of their body and their heart centers whenever they are meditating and specifically following the instructions that he teaches us to meditate or to move energy out of our body. He says that we have to use our body as an instrument of consciousness, and the way that it is, consciousness is information and light, and that is frozen in our body. It's frozen. There's trauma frozen in our body. There's things that have happened that we don't even remember is frozen in our bodies, and but these things nevertheless are affecting our health, are affecting our relationships, they are affecting our life and our identity, and it happens on such an unconscious level that we think it's normal. We think that that is the only reality there is. So the way that he and his team are working is to demonstrate that when we are pulling the mind, pulling the body out of the mind through the meditation techniques and breathing techniques, we are actually freeing up this frozen energy, frozen information into the field, into the quantum field, so that more energy is generated to create more of what we want. And again, when you look at the brain scans, and his team are very meticulous, they can actually measure which parts of the brain light up with which parts of the meditations, and so they can actually measure, they can actually say this is a normal a range of energy activity. So I believe it's between 10 to 60 microvolts square, and what their team is measuring are outrageous numbers. We're talking about sometimes 100,000 microvolts square, and so you don't have to believe me. What you have to do is check out the research. But what that means is that the addictions in our body, the things that we struggle with, maybe the self-sabotage or the blocks in our life that we keep talking about in talk therapy, or we keep lamenting them, or we keep thinking, oh, this is just who I am. They're actually just energetic blocks that we haven't been able to access or free because we haven't been able to understand how we need to generate so much energy with simple breathing techniques so that we can actually um, um, overcome these energetic blocks. And so this sounds a little bit weird, but this is really a lot of the work that he's been doing recently. And if you would Google some of the work that he's done with Quantum University, with Mr. Jeffrey Fannin, you will see all the brain scans. You will be able to see that a normal brain generates a specific voltage of energy, but that during the meditations, people start to generate so much energy in their brain that we can actually say that something physically is changing. The personality that had the disease, the personality that was stuck in a specific type of destructive relationship, either at work or in personal romance with people, when they start meditating and they start pulling out blocks of energy, blocks of consciousness, light, and information out of their body, and they start transcending it, and they release it into the field, and they start rewiring themselves to actually become this new personality that can welcome in this new reality. They start seeing that the brain activity is of such a magnitude that these people report physical, biological, and personality changes. And so this is very exciting news for me. I can tell you myself that I have worked on issues such as, certain addictions to certain people and certain circumstances in my life. There was a time in my life where I was stuck in relationships. I couldn't leave certain people that were absolutely not good for me. Nowadays, I can tell you if something doesn't work, I don't stay in a relationship if they don't work. I can easily walk away because I love myself more than my addiction. My addictions, I've worked on my addictions to horrible relationships. I'm not addicted anymore to being treated in a horrible way, and I don't believe in any way that I can change anybody. I can influence them, but I cannot change them. So for me, I've broken this really old pattern of staying in relationships, trying to control another person, trying to change them. I now am more able to see where change should be within me, and it's not up to me to decide whether the person that I'm with should be making certain changes. So on another level, I have been, during this retreat, been working on specific beliefs around worthiness, specific beliefs about abundance and being good enough to achieve certain of my life goals. And I can tell you that without me even, realizing what has happened, I've had certain breakthroughs in this retreat that were so profound that actually the parts of my identity that were convinced that I couldn't let this stuff go and would need years and years of let's say therapy or whatever kind of treatments, they actually were resolved with like one or two meditations. And so I've had several breakthroughs already, and we're going into the last day tomorrow, and so I'm very excited. So I can only say I've met a lot of people here that have also been able to report significant changes in their personal life. A lot of them have debilitating diseases where the medical science has given up on them. These people were in pain, these people were bleeding, these people were, not able to function normally. They were in hospitals, they couldn't even work. So for these people, Dr. Joe's work was the last resort, and these people had no choice. They had to overcome themselves, because they had to prove it to themselves that what they wanted in their life was possible, and they didn't have any proof. They saw the proof of other people and testimonials, but they had to prove it to themselves. And it's so inspiring to meet these people. I mean, compared to their issues, my issues are so minimal, and so it's very inspiring to meet people who just tell me, his work has changed my life profoundly. I was sitting next to somebody during dinner tonight, and he's actually somebody who is extremely successful in his business life. There's something wrong on my computer. And basically, he told me that Dr. Joe Dispenza's work coming in this stage of his life is just demonstrating to him what he's been doing all his life, which is, he always believed in himself. He always knew that he would achieve his goals. He had never had any doubts about it. But he has been reading the book Think and Grow Rich. He's been listening to a specific CD for like 15 years of his life or something. So, in some way he was already living these metaphysical principles, but Dr. Joe Dispenza is just bringing it from another angle, and he really resonated with this work. So for me, it's like, just coming here and meeting all these different people is also the reward itself, apart from the download of information and skills that I'm getting. There's no way that I can explain what he's teaching in a more eloquent way than he would. What I'm sharing here is just little nuggets of what I want to remind myself of. Today it was the part of, we cannot change matter with matter. We cannot change our life by, talking about changes or by exerting will and effort in ways that will not alter the operating system, which is the 95% of subconscious programming in our body. We have to change matter with energy and with consciousness, and the energy that we are as an infinite being. We can manipulate that with breathing techniques, with meditation, with an intention, and that is what his work is about. And so we're now being taught how to manifest matter out of nowhere, and we're being very playful with it. So it's fun. That's all I can say. So why wouldn't you want to learn how to manifest matter out of nothing? And what's even funnier is that the people around me, on the table and on the stage, are sharing their stories of crazy manifestations. And we're talking about sometimes instant manifestations, we're talking about wild manifestations, we're talking about out of the ordinary, uncommon manifestations. So it's a little bit of a weird environment that I'm in. People who don't believe in this stuff will really, have their doubts about my sanity. But I can only say that I am no longer, and I have never probably been interested in the common. I am interested in the uncommon. I'm interested in the extraordinary. I'm interested in the supernatural. And that is the theme of this workshop. Becoming supernatural and exploring that through our ways of being, and by stepping in the unknown, and by allowing ourselves to actually experiment in a playful way, in a creative way, so that we can realize our true potential, and also have more understanding about how people get stuck, so that we can be examples, shining examples maybe. So this is the reason why I'm sharing this video with you guys, but also I'm shooting this for myself so that I can remember it when I gone back home and I'm back in the old, maybe my old environment that might drive me back to my old habits. So thank you for listening to this, and I hope you get inspired to do something to yourself. Okay, bye.